As of this year, Minecraft has existed in some form for over 15 years. If Minecraft was a person, they'd be looking at ways to clear their acne, worrying about their algebra homework, and scrounging up money to pay for their driver's ed classes. 15 years for anything is a long time. That, of course, is a matter of perspective. 15 years ago when you're 15 is very different to 15 years ago when you're 40. But one place where 15 years is a really, really long time is in the video game industry, where things come and go seemingly week to week. Being around for that long and still selling hundreds of thousands of copies every year is absolutely monumental and infinitely impressive. But there's one thing that has lasted even longer than 15 years in the video game industry, and it's clones. Whether the term is being used to describe an almost direct copy of a game, or it's being used to describe the beginning of a whole new genre, for better or worse, the term clone has been used to describe a game that's very similar to another game. Sometimes it's similar aesthetically, sometimes it has similar mechanics, but at the end of the day, someone's going to look at that game and all they're going to think is, yep, that's a clone. Now you might be thinking, I don't do this. I don't look at a game and think it's a clone. But in reality, none of us are innocent of this. And to be honest, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I am to hopefully show you why. With all of that being said, welcome to the first episode of Minecraft Versus, where we're going to be looking at a game that might be described as a Minecraft clone, and we're going to be determining three things. 1, is it a clone? What does it do similar to Minecraft? 2, how is it different? What does this game do to set itself apart? And 3, is it worth playing? The first game we're going to be looking at in this series is one of the highest selling of these so-called clones. Now, I want you to imagine you're 9 or 10 years old, you hear mentions of this game on computers where you can build stuff with friends, but there's only one problem. You don't have a computer. All you have is the Xbox 360 you got for Christmas. Oh? What's this? A game on Xbox 360? Where you can build with friends? The first thing we're going to look at is how is FortressCraft similar to Minecraft? Something else to consider when watching this is Minecraft has been out for 15 years. So we're going to consider what Minecraft looked like at the time. In this case, we're going to be comparing FortressCraft to the very first release of Minecraft on Xbox 360. Does FortressCraft have the blocky voxel art style of Minecraft? Check. Can you break blocks? Check. Can you build things? Check. Is there TNT? Check. Does it have mobs? Check. To be quite honest, other than a number of items and block types being in common, that's where a lot of the main similarities end, especially when compared to the first release of Minecraft on Xbox 360. FortressCraft did a great job of towing the line between a Minecraft clone and creating their own unique product. When the game first came out, it was fairly bare bones, only having the equivalent of Minecraft's creative mode. Then again, Minecraft didn't even have creative mode when it first came out on the Xbox. In its first release, Minecraft only had survival mode, and didn't even have something like a hunger bar. In FortressCraft's initial release, they did have some nice quality of life changes in comparison to Minecraft, such as a way longer range to place blocks, which made the building process a lot easier. Another immediately noticeable difference is your player. In FortressCraft, you were able to play as your Xbox avatar, which was a pretty novel but fun feature and a good way to replace the inability to use a Minecraft skin that you wanted. Or better yet, it meant you didn't have to pay for Minecraft skins, which was the only way to use different skins in Minecraft on Xbox other than a select few free ones. On top of these differences on initial release, the developers also promised constant support with new patches every 5 days.
There is going to be a huge change every 5 days. Every 5 days, the game will be updated. You know, it'll get a patch.
And although this didn't end up happening, most likely because of the large price tag Microsoft gave developers to push updates to their games, they did still have very consistent updates. The first few updates were mostly bug fixes, but by August of 2011, they had begun the process of truly differentiating themselves from Minecraft with the addition of different game modes, the really cool items called relics. Relics were in-game items that changed up the gameplay or unlocked different game modes for people to play with their friends. The relics that didn't give you new game modes gave you quality of life changes, such as the jetpack relic, which allows you to fly around like in Minecraft's creative mode, the speed boots, and the water walking boots to name a few. Relics are found in-game, deep underground, and are found by following an audio cue that would grow louder the closer you got to one. Another feature FortressCraft added to differentiate themselves from Minecraft was the ability to play with up to 32 people. This might not sound like much, but Minecraft on Xbox never allowed more than 8 people at a time. But the absolute biggest thing that FortressCraft did to set itself apart from Minecraft was the addition of custom blocks, whose closest Minecraft comparison would be maybe the Chisels and Bits mod. Since the developers weren't sure what kind of blocks people wanted, and they wanted to allow players to be as creative as possible, they thought of a way to allow players to make their own blocks. The developers created this workshop, which was a big room underground in the middle of the world that gave you the ability to create any block you wanted. It's a large 8x8x8 room that lets you create any shape or structure within that room, and it would be shrunken down into a block. On top of that, each of these blocks can be given different characteristics, such as shooting out flame or smoke, spinning or swinging, or being larger or smaller. This was a truly ingenious way to give the power to the community to create whatever they wanted. These relics, game modes, and the workshop was all done as part of the promise developers made early on. The goal of the developers was simply to give the players what they want.
Basically, this is a real community-based game. Anything that the community wants and really lobbies for, most likely it'll be implemented in the game. It's like a unwritten book, and the author is the community.
But now we come to a bit of an issue, a bit of an impasse, if you will. Something we have to discuss if we want to talk about the development and especially the promotion of FortressCraft. It was at this point, while writing and researching for this video, that I realized that the video we keep cutting to is an interview with Keemstar. If you don't know who Keemstar is, they represent a lot of what was wrong with YouTube, especially at the height of their fame with their channel Drama Alert. 2 years before starting Drama Alert, he became the promoter of this game leading up to its launch. According to Keemstar, he reached out to the developers and they struck a deal. This led me to worry if by even discussing this game, I was inadvertently supporting Keemstar, who at the time made millions. So I looked a bit more into the developers and found a lot of very interesting information. The first big piece of info I immediately figured out was that all the multiple times through different store listings and through the interview itself, they used the plural developers. It turns out there was actually only one developer. Meet Adam Sawkins. Adam is the person behind FortressCraft, which, according to this interview with The Guardian, started off as a 3D version of the game Dwarf Fortress. At the time, Adam was a developer at Activision's Freestyle Game Studios, working on games such as DJ Hero and Sing Party, now known as Ubisoft Leamington. This company's most recent game was Skull and Bones, so it's good to know they're still making absolute stinkers. Anyway, while working at that studio, Adam was working on this 3D version of Dwarf Fortress, which is described as a construction management simulation game. He was having trouble getting the game to render quickly enough, and so his progress was halted. He was stuck and didn't know what to do, until one fateful day. One day in late 2010, Adam was playing Minecraft with a friend who asked him, "How does the game's rendering work?" referring to the idea of how this game could make a practically infinite world that generates every single step you take. So Adam explained to him how voxels work, the lighting, the optimal way the facets are cold, and according to Adam, a little light went on in my head. He realized he could use these same ideas to make the game he was working on run way faster. And if you don't know what voxels are, don't worry, neither did I until I started making this video, but voxels are essentially 3D pixels. So if a Minecraft world is a canvas, each block is an individual pixel in that giant piece of art. And although they've been used for years in video games, Minecraft was the game that popularized it once again. So all of that is how he got the idea of using voxels in this 3D Dwarf Fortress, which by this point was going by the name Digger's World. But how did we get from that to FortressCraft? Well, there's more to this story. One day in January of 2011, our friend Adam was scrolling through some Xbox 360 forums when he saw a header titled, "Bring Minecraft to the Xbox 360. This thread was full of people claiming it wasn't possible. The Xbox wasn't powerful enough, so on and so forth. Adam, being the 10-year self-taught veteran of the video game industry by this time, told them it was possible and outlined exactly how it could be done using the Xbox's architecture. But the internet being the internet, and this being the year 2011, someone responded with, "LOL, noob, you know nothing." To Adam, this was a challenge, an intriguing puzzle to solve, and one he was more than capable of solving. So in 3 days, just 3 days, Adam made a prototype. And to give even more proof, after providing some screenshots of the game, Adam also uploaded a video to YouTube showing his prototype in action. In just 3 days, he already had a skeleton to build a game from. To prove those people wrong, this was uploaded January 17th, 2011. 1 month later, February 27th, 2011, is when we see that interview with the game's promoter, Keemstar. And by April 8th of that year, the game is released. This was all created by one man, was created in less than 3 months, and continued to be worked on and expanded upon for years after the initial release, just as promised. So with all of this being said, I believe if you end up wanting to play this game, with how licenses and agreements work, and the fact you can only get this game on Steam now, you'll hopefully solely be supporting this man, who simply wanted to solve a puzzle and give people what they wanted and asked for on Xbox 360. Now let's get back to the game itself. Although a lot of the things that the community requested were directly from Minecraft, such as the addition of the Spleef game mode and literal hero brine at some point, the other half of items and features added truly turned FortressCraft into something unique, more closely resembling modern Minecraft mods. Things like having the ability to use a flashlight, being able to use machines to mine blocks for you, adding conveyors, jump pads, teleporters, the previously mentioned jetpack, and of course the workshop. So many little things that add up to create what was truly a unique experience. Because of all of this, in its first year, FortressCraft sold over 800,000 copies, and by the end of its lifespan, sold over 1.4 million copies. They did this for the most part by being on the Xbox over a year before Minecraft, which released on May 9th, 2012. And they even predate Minecraft's official PC release by about 7 months. FortressCraft released April 8th, 2011, compared to Minecraft's November 18th, 2011 release. But the other thing FortressCraft did that set it apart from Minecraft, to the point that even after Minecraft released on Xbox, people were still trying to decide which game to buy, was the price difference. FortressCraft was 240 Microsoft points. Yeah, they used this really dumb point system at the time, by the way, aka $3, while Minecraft was 1,600 Microsoft points, aka $20. And if all you wanted to do was build with friends, it's easy to see why this would suddenly become a difficult decision. All of these are excellent things that FortressCraft did to set itself apart, but every rose has its thorn, and FortressCraft is no exception. So let's look at some things FortressCraft may have fallen behind in, so you can decide for yourselves if FortressCraft is worth trying out. The first major difference between the two games is the size of the world. In case you didn't know, unlike Minecraft on PC, Minecraft on consoles was not an infinitely generated world. The world is a predetermined size. In Minecraft, that's the size of the provided in-game map, aka 1024 by 1024 blocks. FortressCraft, on the other hand, had a slightly smaller world at around 800 by 800. On paper, that doesn't seem like a huge difference, but trying out the two, it feels like a major difference, a huge difference in map size. Minecraft was also far more accessible, giving as many tutorials as it possibly could, which are still present to this day, while FortressCraft just throws you in. I had to look up how to find the relics, what the workshop even was, because the few tutorials it did have were just a little confusing. While Minecraft had a large number of mobs, both hostile and docile, FortressCraft only has 2, and one of those mobs, the zombies, are now behind a paywall, forcing you to buy a different game to get access to the zombie mobs and a weapon to fight them with. Another big potential downside for some is, of course, not having a survival type mode, which means not having a crafting system, or armor, or weapons. There's also this dumb little watermark at all times, which is so weird to me. It's so annoying. It's just sitting there, just staring at me. On top of that, some might say FortressCraft is missing that charm. The charm that comes with big development team with lots of artists adding nice touches to blocks, the world, how it generates, how it sounds, how it feels. But there's also a chance that at this point, a lot of that is seen through the eyes of nostalgia. When someone who played this game first might have the same reaction as someone who played Minecraft first. I know I did. Putting up this old version of Minecraft from 2012 that you've been seeing was a very cathartic experience for someone who's been playing the game for a decade. So it was very difficult for me to separate that nostalgia from what I was actually seeing and experiencing. All of that brings us to, if the thing you like the most about Minecraft is building, the creative aspects of the game, FortressCraft was absolutely a worthwhile investment. FortressCraft did so much to set itself apart from Minecraft while still keeping a lot of aspects of its main inspiration. In turn, I believe they created a unique experience. As much as the Minecraft devs themselves want you to think it's just another clone, with Notch himself saying, FortressCraft is an obvious attempt to just take something popular and clone it as closely as possible. FortressCraft was more than a clone, and Adam understood what Minecraft meant to FortressCraft, and vice versa. In reality, this was the start of a new genre of video games, pioneered by Infiniminer, popularized by Minecraft, capitalized on by FortressCraft, and expanded upon by so many other games. It's very possible that the existence of FortressCraft and games like it pushed the Minecraft developers to go above and beyond what they were doing to remain on top. The final version of this original iteration of FortressCraft released on Steam in 2021 for its 10th anniversary, which is what most of the footage I've shown of this game is from. On top of that, there's also an even more unique version of FortressCraft called FortressCraft Evolved, which has all of the content patches past Chapter 1, which gave FortressCraft far more unique worlds to explore, tower defense modes, unique mobs, and so many other things. And like Adam promised at the very beginning, it received support for almost a decade, with the most recent patch being released December 2019. And although that's almost 5 years ago, it also came with another surprise. Reminder that work has been bubbling away on the next in the FortressCraft franchise, tentatively entitled FortressCraft Phoenix. Wait, scratch that. While writing and recording this video, there was actually an update. Cloud support being added after being reminded by users in the community that it exists, and the promise that FortressCraft 2 is still moving along. So with all of that said, FortressCraft and FortressCraft Evolved are absolutely worth checking out and playing. At the end of the day, it wasn't just a Minecraft clone, but a big part of the birth of a new genre.